Right. Just waiting to go live on all the other platforms. Happy Friday night, Sunday night. So it's been a while since I've done a live. I just thought, might as well jump on one, check in with people, see if I can answer some questions, update people on what's going on with me. Because I think the last one I did was from my shop in Greece, in Thessaloniki. I got back, I think it's been a month, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. And I've just been running around like crazy, taking care of stuff over there from here, chatting to some clients from here, taking care of my other stuff from here. It's been a fun time. And then dealing with this weather. I don't know if anyone's in Melbourne at the moment, but why did I come back is the main question. I've got friends in Rhodes and they're like, yeah, man, we're still swimming. So anyway, I've collated a whole bunch of videos that I haven't. I'm still putting them on these, coming off the phones to go through, and I'm trying to find a videographer or someone who deals with this sort of stuff to be able to just go, here, take these videos. This is what I want, chop it up, etc., because it's still in my head in. But essentially, I've recorded basically half of the shop rebuild. Because I bought a shop, for those who are new to the channel, welcome. I bought a shop last year, and I was going to convert it. My father passed away, so obviously I had to deal with that. And then I went back this year and thought, all right, I'm going to dump all the money in there, film it all, and then have some content to put out to you guys and show you guys exactly sort of how it goes from start to finish, or as what I thought anyway. So in the process of that, one of my other tenants was like, I'm out. So I decided to just kind of redo that place as well. And then I spent half of the money into that, and then I sort of ran out of money. I thought, all right, stuff it. But I've gotten both videos in separate categories. One's about the rebuild, the buying of the property, the conversion process, what we're going through in kind of as much detail as I can to give you guys sort of a price range of what you're looking at if you were to do the same thing in Thessaloniki, because that's where I'm based, and sort of what the potential return is and what I'm sort of looking at. The other one was having a tenant leave, going through the renovation process, which is nothing. It was like a lick of paint, really, and then furnishing it, white goods, all that kind of stuff, setting a goal as to where I thought the money would sit, the return on the investment for the rental, and what we actually got. And how long the process took and how I went through it with photographer and agents and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, one of the things that I was going to say, I did post a little video the other day about sort of renting stuff. Look, I'm always against going with agents purely because I just know the language. I know the game. I can do it myself. Agents aren't a bad thing. It's just that I've been bitten a few times before with agents. So I was going, that's fine. And also the other thing with agents is if you're going to go to the agent personally, they're going to undervalue it a little bit, and obviously not a lot. They're going to undervalue it to be able to get someone in there quickly so they can make their money and piss off. Once the agents have leased it out for you, it's done. Unless you have a further arrangement where you want them to monitor it and maintain it and and they're going to pay them X amount of money and all that stuff. Once they've signed on the dotted line, the tenants come in and you've paid and everything, they're out. And what the agents do is their commission, because I realized I didn't make it clear. Someone was like, how do they take 50%? So basically, say I want to rent out this place. I go to agent blah, and he goes, yep, cool. I reckon to go for about 450. When the going rate might be 500. And you can say to him, I want it to go for 500. And you can put it up for 500. And you can kind of figure out where the sort of the market sits, because agents will undervalue. Because the thing is, he'll go, I can get someone in tomorrow for 450. Maybe you might drop it to 430 because you want to get rid of it. And that way, what happens with the agent? Now, there's a few things in play, but essentially the agent will take 1 month's wage and it will take half from you and half from the tenant. And that way they collate 1 month. Generally, when you get a tenant in, you generally will ask for 1 month in advance plus the month ongoing. So essentially you end up with 2. The agent will take their cuts. You essentially end up with 1.5. So a lot of the times people would rather go through a private listing than an agent, because they obviously don't want to pay the agent for finding them something that they could very easily find themselves, once we talk about or wherever you want. And also private tenants, private people like myself, I'm just like, why would I pay an agent when I can just put it on Twitter? So here's what I realized. A little trick of the trade. I'm very happy to work with the agents. I'm just not going to chase them because I put my listing up on Sweetdog. I got a few agents in who are like, well, actually, I got the list. I put the listing up. I didn't really know where I was sitting with it. I kind of knew roughly. So I started at a price range. I think it was like 550 or whatever. I was like, there's no way it's going to make 550. And then agents would call me up and go, yeah, we want to come and see it. Are you willing to work with us? And I was like, what's your commission? They go, well, look, since we came to you, we're not taking a commission from you. We'll take a commission from the tenant. And I was like, all right, that's fine by me. If you want to work and take it from them, that's fine. I'm not paying you anything. All of a sudden, I started to get fivers. I had given it away to like 6 agents. But that's when I realized, if they come to you, they're not taking a commission. But if you go to them, they'll take a commission. And then what happened was a few of them came out. Then I realized who was actually willing to come out and look at it and who wasn't. And ironically enough, the one person who did come out to look at it was the one person who ended up leasing it out anyway. So he was worth his salt, his weight and salt. And then I'm still got ongoing clientele with him and future workings as well. We've been chatting about creating management style stuff and blah, 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 blah. But what eventually happens is you figure out where your property sits because you will get your expectation, the agent's, reality, the agent's sort of willingness, and then reality sort of halfway in the middle. So when a lot of people are saying, oh, it'll be around about this, around about that, around about that, and you kind of go, actually, I want to put it at this much. And that's sort of where it sits, which I mean, it's pretty basic across the board through real estate, really. And if anyone's dealing in real estate in any part of the world, but it's not always about the money. I had someone who actually offered me €30 a month more, which is quite a big deal over there. And I just said no. And I actually ended up letting it go for, I think, 30 less, or I can't remember, 20 less. Anyway, significantly less because I like the person who's in there. I've got a great kid in there now who's 18, fresh into uni, and his mum lives an hour away, and it's his first time living outside of home, and blah, 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 and this and that. So I was like, you know what? And I've got him on Instagram. All my tenants I've got on Insta. We chat. We constantly chat. If they ever need anything, they're just messaging me, blah, blah, this, and they're young kids. Not necessarily I go for that crap, but generally speaking, the way that I play the game is if I put decent quality stuff in there, I get a decent quality person coming into it. I had a student nurse in the shop that I got during COVID. She was the first person in there, fully furnished. She's been in there since. I only upped the rent this year, €20. She's been on the same rent, and I'm more than happy to keep her on the same rent for another 4 years. I don't really care because she keeps the place immaculate, and she's constantly posting stories. And I'm like, oh, great. There's the fridge. There's this. There's I'm seeing what's going on. She's she's a neat freak. I'm like, this is amazing. Hold on to it. I don't care. Same as the guy last year. I ended up giving it away to someone who actually leases out Airbnbs in different parts of Greece as well. So he just happened to be in that area because his partner is a school teacher who was working there. So he took it up, snapped it up, went back and saw it. It's pretty much exactly the same because he understands. So I think when you start to put a little bit more effort and a little bit more time and money into the properties, and you're going to get, what you put in, you attract essentially. Not always, but generally speaking. But it's been an interesting time dealing with both things at once. It was no way a holiday in any way, shape, or form. I had members of the freaking council coming down and shouting at me for no apparent reason whatsoever. Did everything legitimately, permits to work orders to things on the wall to let people know what we're doing, and and going to the council and booking things in and paying this and doing that and everything legit. And then some guy decided to just still come down and yell because he just needed to justify his pay. It's fine. It's grace. Do my head in. What do I care? It's been interesting. It's been very interesting. So I can't wait to go back and see how it's going. And to see the finished product and see exactly where we sit with our expectations on the rental return. Went and checked out Athens as well. Glyfada was there with a client where we're looking at apartments. Man, Jesus, talk about an area that's blown up and a city in particular as well. Athens, if you want to invest now, because I'll tell you what, in 5 years' time, mate, those areas are going to be untouchable. I mean, they'll be touchable for people that have got money, but in all honesty, I have never in my life seen so much construction, so much developing going up at the same time, all within blocks of each other. And we're talking high-end apartments, high-end real estate construction in one of the richest areas of Greece, mind you, Glyfada, Vouliagmeni, all those areas. But because you've got the Ellinikon project that's coming up over the next, 4 years, Glyfada in particular is getting a massive boost because they're about to get a new metro station. You got a casino coming up around the corner, which I think is the first casino in Athens, because Greece has got one. Thessaloniki's got a casino. It's been there for 20 years, if not more. So Athens is getting, I think, their first Greek casino. AI speaking to me. It's really throwing me because I think the people are talking to me, but they're not. So Glyfada's a very interesting place. Extremely beautiful, extremely just prestigious and just rich, and everything's just, obviously it's Glyfada. You're spending millions, upwards of millions. And the Ellinikon project is doing wonders down there. And it's huge, man. I went past it, drove past it, and you see this massive, 58-story skyscraper. It's the first skyscraper in Greece. It's just sticking out. Rhodes has a casino as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a lot of places in Greece that have got a casino. For whatever reason, Athens just didn't, or definitely doesn't until now. I think I heard it's the first casino that's going up in Athens. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't really go to casinos. But I wouldn't be surprised. And it's creating chaos over there. And I mean in a good way. When a lot of the properties are sold off the plan, we were looking at properties that haven't even broken ground. And 4 of the 12 apartments are already sold, if not more. And, we're talking like 1.1, 1.3 million euro just off the plan. They haven't even broken ground. So, things are going hot there, and they're going to international as well. A lot of the golden visas are coming in. People want just, and in those areas, you're going to get a lot of football players, because that's what the real estate agent, we were talking about to one of the agents who were dealing with. We're like, well, who's going to rent this out? I mean, we're looking at $5 grand a week, $5 grand a month, euro. She's like, it's probably go to a soccer player. And at first I thought, yeah, that's kind of what they say. Every other agent I spoke to, like, yeah, it's probably going to go to a soccer player. I'm like, man, all these soccer players. Ange Postecoglou bought 2 blocks behind where we were looking at. If you don't know who Ange Postecoglou is, a massive coach from South Melbourne back in the day, soccer player, and then had Tottenham Hotspurs last year or 2 years ago. Now is at Nottingham Forest, I think. Anyway, he's big Greek Australian coach, has made it big in the Premier League. Obviously, got some coin. Decided to buy Glyfada. So you're looking at those kind of people, international businessmen, bankers, blah blah, investors, all that kind of stuff. So. And the other interesting thing that I found was that, which makes sense, you weren't allowed to short-term lease those properties out. So no Airbnbs or Booking.com or whatever it is. It was either long-term lease or you live in it yourself, which makes sense, because when another person's dropping 5 million euro for the penthouse, and there's only, maybe 10, 12 apartments in this certain building, or 20 or whatever it is, you don't want, your young party goers coming in and out and sort of making it, creating a fuss, creating noise, ruining it, doing whatever, and just generally opening it up to a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic. It gets dirty and all that kind of stuff. And just more of a safety situation, I guess. So that was a very interesting thing to see. So came back from Greece, and all of a sudden I've caught the flu and God knows whatever else. Cash goes a long way. Not necessarily the fucking lucky, but I mean, in regard, maybe more or less the fucking lucky. Like a lot of people are like, if you give us cash, we're looking at buying 1.1 million places. How do they pay strata levies? They do pay strata, yes. It's the new higher end buildings like in Glyfada and all that have got body corporates, and I think companies are coming in and sort of creating that kind of stuff. It's not as expensive as what we are. Depends, like if they've got a porter, if they've got this, if they've got that. Generally, every place will pay what's called kenochista, which is sort of a central payment for the building. In my mum's place, that's 70 years old or whatever it is. It's just one old guy who's like, all right, guys, 20 euro for the month. And then you hand it to him and he pays all the bills and whatnot. In a brand new building, Glyfada, I doubt it'll be that. It'll probably be a proper company. And again, that is up to them how much they want to charge, because we were asking that in Equinoctius, and like there will be, because there's going to be a porter here, and they're trying to figure out whether it's a 24-hour thing or a 16-hour thing. Great investments. I've invested in Turkey, has been a great hairline dividend. Yeah, Turkey. Yeah, I'd be interested to find out about Turkey, because I mean they're right next door, so I can't imagine why they wouldn't be going great as well. But what was I saying before that? Oh yeah, cash is king over there. So this one, a few times people were like, "Oh, can you pay cash?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, what do you mean by cash? Like actual cash? Like?" And they're like, "Yeah, can you bring over cash?" And I'm like, "Well, not really, because how are we going to get it out of the country? Like, we can't just like what are you talking, 20,000? Like, no, 200,000, $250,000. I'm like, euro in cash." And there was this one Australian developer as well. He's from Sydney. He lived in Sydney for 20, 30 years. Decided to buy a block of land, or maybe fell into this block of land and father and decided to raise his own building. We went and had a chat to him. He's like, "Oh, just give me cash. If you can give me like 200 grand cash." And I'm like, "How are we going to get out of the country?" And I'm like, "You lived in Sydney. You know what Australia's like." And it's like, "Oh, no, well then go and buy gold." And I'm like, "How about just pay your taxes?" Do you know what I mean? Like it's not all they're doing is trying to cut a deal so they pay less in tax and you pay less in tax. And then I started to realize, really, even in the higher end places, that lawyers will overcharge as well. If you don't know what you're doing, man, if you don't know what you're doing, that's always the way. I saved my client like $8,000 in regards to lawyers, because one lawyer was like, "Oh, we wanted them to be a power of attorney and act on their behalf and because he was about to leave, go to Sydney and da. She's like, "Yeah, I want 1%. It's like, 1% of what? And she goes, "The whole price." I said, "It's 1.1 million. You want 11,000 euro to do what?" Like, and I know what the deal is. I've bought so many times. I know, and whether you buy 1.1 million, 5 million, or 50,000 euro, the process is the same. There's a legal check, and then you sign on the dotted line. Like, the lawyer is the least of your worries. It's more the solicitor and all that kind of stuff, and conveyance and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and she goes, "Oh yeah, no, actually, let's make it 0.5%." I'm like, "Well, that's still 6,000 euro. Like, what are you doing?" And she tried justifying everything. I was like, "No, man. My uncle's my lawyer. He's, he does everything." I gave him a call. I was like, "Yeah, I can do it for a couple of grand, $3,000, whatever he said. I can't remember." But anyway, it's knowing who to speak to and knowing what the expectations are, because people, once they start to see big money like that, especially from international investors, they're going to be like, "Oh, they got money." Yeah, we do, but also 1.1 for you guys is 2.2, 2.3 for us. So it's, kind of, we've got money, but also we don't. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we just want to give it away and throw it away and also be taken advantage of. But it really opened my eyes up to see how things work, especially in the higher market end of Greece, where I thought things would have been a little bit more professional. Now, not to say that they weren't. That was one situation. The other situation was actually quite fun. And obviously, people were like, "No, everything's on the books. We show everything to the banks, to this, to that, da, 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 da. Perfect. That's what you want." So again, it's hit and miss, and it depends on the development company. It depends, on who you fall on, what they're doing, how well they're doing it, and sort of, what it is. But the process is a process. It's quite the same from what I've realized. It's not anything different, whether you're buying 50,000 euro apartment or you're buying a 1.5 million euro apartment. Any upside with investment in Glyfada? Again, it depends on what you consider as an upside. I had this conversation with my client who ended up pulling the pin on that particular place because the lounge room wasn't big enough, and that's fine, perfect. And I said to him, like, and this is what I say to every single person I speak to at the beginning. I'm like, "What do you want? Do you want an investment that you're going to make a return on monthly, or do you want something that you're going to call yourself, buy for yourself, hold on to it, and just get capital growth?" Because if you want capital growth, Glyfada is phenomenal. You're not going to lose. You are absolutely not going to lose. In fact, anywhere in Greece, you're probably not going to lose, unless you go to a chorio where it's just 18 donkeys. You're going to lose. But, will not even lose. It just won't grow. But Glyfada in particular, and I said to him, like, "You rent this out. You rent this out for €5,000 a month. Like they said, it'll probably go to a soccer player, this and that. It might stay unrented for a while because the higher end places are obviously not the hot topic there. It's the lower end scale of real estate where you make your money. With regards to return on investment for rentals, sorry, for rentals, not for growth. For growth, the father, whatever you buy, things are going up. But if you want to make a monthly income, then you start to hit places that are going to be anywhere from 300 to 600 euro a month, where you've got your majority of the Greeks that are looking to invest, and they need a place to live, and they're looking for rent to rent something out. Something like that, where it's going to take 5,000, where it's going to cost 5,000 euro a month. You're looking at a niche client, which is obviously a more smaller. It's a more marginal demographic. Not to say that it doesn't work, but it's a more marginal demographic. So it's more about capital growth, because that property made money yesterday. It was 1.15. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see how much it's going for at the moment, because it was finishing next, maybe even at the end of this month. I think it was finishing at the end of this month. Once it's finished, the price goes up. Once the new metro system comes in, which they've already started digging, and the whole new promenade and the pine trees and all the lights, everything, forget about it. Then once the Ellinikon finishes in a couple of years, triple forget about it. Like there's just no, those areas, and generally around those areas, they're all going up. If you get, and to give you an example, if you get onto Airbnb, punch in any dates, even punch in like July, somewhere mid-July, and looking for a week in around Glifado, around the Ellinikon, you'll see places going from anywhere from $5,000 a month to $5,000 a week to $70,000 a week. There are massive villas around those areas that have just shot up, and people are renting them out because the beaches are great, they're beautiful, it's a nice area. So, and that was never the case 70 grand a week, excuse me, in Athens for an Airbnb. But it's got the money, it's got the international investors. You've got a whole lot of Russians, Bulgarians, Albanians that are coming in from the north. Firstly, you got the Israelis, you got all the Saudis. In fact, when we were asking who owned the other places, she's like, oh, she's a Brit, but she's married to a Saudi who owns this sort of business. That's a Russian guy. That's a Swedish banker. That's a this and that. Like, you're playing in with the rest of the world. You're not just playing with your neighbor who works at the bank here, or the neighbor who's a painter or whatever. It's like you're dealing with international money. Do you have any thoughts on Chania and Crete? I love Chania and Crete. I absolutely love Chania and Crete. It's beautiful. I got family from Crete. Not that I haven't been since 15 years. But yeah, Chania's doing good. But Chania's doing really good. But I think Iraklion's doing better randomly. There's a lot more money going into Iraklion from what I understand. I could be wrong, but I mean, Chania's beautiful as well, one way or another. But Crete in general, in fact, I'm looking at a property right now for someone in Crete. I don't know if it's Chania. It might just be outside of Chania, because it's actually got, it's an old property that has a Turkish hammam attached to it. And it's very interesting dealing with the permits and seeing all what is needed to go through that, because when you're dealing with stuff that have got some kind of heritage listing, even though it's not Greek heritage, it's obviously a heritage listing, the red tape there is insane. Understandably, it's obviously an ancient thing. Well, this isn't ancient, it's obviously Ottoman Empire, but you know what I mean, it's still 400 years old, whatever it is. And it's an old stone house that they're converting, and they want to keep the hammam and do this and do that. So we had to go through all the legal checks and balances and make sure we can. Then you had to inquire with certain historical parties that yes, you can do this and da. But yeah, to answer in short, I love Chania. I think it's the beautiful beaches, the weather. It's just it's beautiful. I just love Crete in general. So yeah, is Piraeus Califea a good area to buy apartment? Yeah, I mean, look, it depends for what purpose. To make a monthly return on, to rent out to locals. Yeah. For you, I don't know. It depends what do you like. Do you know what I mean? Like when people ask, is this area a good place? Is this area a good place? It depends on you, man. Like you know what I mean? You might like, I got friends that live 4 hours out of Melbourne, and it's a good place to them. You wouldn't be caught dead in those places. Yeah, so it really just depends. Depends on what you want for you. Well, again, how much are you looking to pay? What are you looking to do with it? Are you looking to live or just sort of keep it there and have something? Do you want to be close to the city? Piraeus is a beautiful area, and Califea, yeah, they're beautiful areas in regards to safety and proximity to the city. Um, and again, it depends on how old and what you're looking to spend and whether you want to renovate something and blah blah. But as a holiday house, which you're saying, yeah, man, I think it's great. Here's the other thing, like Greg's keeps saying, oh, it's too far, it's too far, it's too far. 10 minutes down the road is too far for it. Man, I'll walk 10 minutes to go get a coffee. Like it's the mentality of the Greek. And it's ridiculous how much the prices will drop in those areas because, it's too far. It's 2 kilometers out of the city. All right, buy it. Because those 2 kilometers are going to become very close in the next 20 years when they start to build up and they've got no more space to go. It's what I don't understand about Greeks. Like they're almost shooting themselves in the foot and they can't really see the forest from the trees because it's what they deem is too far. Well, they haven't had to deal with our distances where we're driving 45 minutes to get to work sometimes, where it's not that far. So, and if you just want a holiday house, you could look at maybe an area like a little bit further out. Excuse me, I'm talking like a kilometer out. Greece seems like a boring place after checking out tourist spots. Yeah, maybe. For you, it probably is. If you didn't like it, then yeah, it definitely is a boring place for you, man. I wouldn't waste money there. Um, Again, it depends what you want to do and where you want to go and sort of what the tourist spots are that you checked out. Did you go party? Did you go looking for special massages like they are in Thailand? Like, it depends what you want. So if you found it boring, I'm sorry that you found it boring, but great that you checked it out and you know not to invest in Greece. It's not for everyone, like anything. Um, but yeah, it's the proximity thing really threw me with Greece. Constantly throws me because they're just like it's too far. Would you buy an ammonia before they clean it up? Is it yes? I was saying this. I've been saying this for a while because I actually twice last year I accidentally stayed in ammonia and I didn't realize until like 'cause I just booked something on Airbnb. It looked nice. I was like, hey, this is really cheap, and there's a view of the Acropolis, blah blah. Book it. And then when I got there, the cab driver was like, "Oh, Brosichel," and I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, this money." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And look, once we got there, yeah, I mean, if I had a friend with me, a female friend, like, um, we were fine. Obviously, I'm kind of I'm a solid guy. It's very, it's not like things are going to happen, but as a girl, if you were traveling there on your own, yeah, it'd be a little bit different. And it's not like people were attacking us or anything. They were just junkies hanging around. The streets smelled a little bit, like pee. Um, Everyone's going nuts on the boring bit. Listen, get on my TikTok. You'll see who said it. What can I say? They think it's boring. I think it's boring. Who am I to say anything? I don't think it's boring. I love the place. But listen, but this is my theory. I've always said, and it was cheap. The place that we had was this 3-bedroom apartment, gorgeous, huge balcony. You'd sat it like I'm talking massive balcony, and over to the distance was the Acropolis. I mean, it wasn't right in your face, but like you could see it. I was like, what the hell? And this thing went for like only a couple €100,000 because it was in ammonia. You know what? I don't think it's. I mean, I would buy it. I would buy it and hold on to it. But here's the thing: like I am of that ilk where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to gamble. I'm going to throw my money in this because surely in 20 years something's going to happen. Someone's going to clean it up, and this is why I think they're going to clean it up because the Olympic, excuse me, is what an €8 billion project, right? They're bringing in all this money, building up high clientele, building up high rises, bringing in casinos, bringing all, like really, really, really creating like the Riviera of Greece, right? And at some stage, they're going to pressure the government to be like, you need to clean up Athens. And the government itself is probably going to be like, we should probably clean this up because these are other areas that could be built up and can bring money into Greece. And I think Omonia is going to be one of them. Someone's going to wake up one day and be like, it's time. It's time because there's nowhere else to do it. You're my brother's favorite streamer. Can you give a birthday shout out? His name is Samyas. Dixon Yas. Hi, Dixon. Happy birthday, mate. Just up on where do you think we should buy? Don't know. What do you want? Greece would be a starter. Tell me more. I don't know who you are. I don't know how much you got to spend. I don't know what you want to do with it. I don't know anything. So I like and Kalamata as well. Yeah, I like Kalamata. Kalamata's beautiful. Kalamata's going up. Really expensive, actually. Like surprisingly going up. I don't know why either, but I mean, not that I don't know why, but as in like I never expected Kalamata to be going up, but a lot of people are looking at Kalamata. and brand new builds for like 800,000, 1 mil, in new buildings. Like obviously looking at the water, but um, excuse me. But yeah, I think to touch on Omonia, I actually really like Omonia, and I think that's the next hotspot, to be honest. Like it's something that family of 4, close to schools, work, etc. Depends how much you want to buy, depends what you're looking for. Maybe send me a message, send me an email, we can have a proper chat, because if you're looking at obviously move there, if you're looking for schools and family of 4 and a 3-bedder, maybe is that I assume. Anyway, send me an email and let's have a proper chat. Would you buy land to build something, or are you focusing on around the cities? Funny you say that. I was having this discussion this morning. I would buy land. In fact, I do own land, not out of my own. I've inherited land. Thessaloniki, we've got land just outside. We're leasing it to a farmer at the moment. And then my parents bought land in Kakiriki to build a holiday home. They never got around to it. Well, they started it, but now I'm going to essentially build the beach house. But yes, I would buy land. There are certain things that I want to do with that land, and I'm not going to relinquish my little hidden mysteries. But yes, it depends what you want to do with it. And if it's zoned or not. That's the other danger. My parents bought land in Kakiriki, for argument's sake, that wasn't zoned. They started to build, and there's been a very interesting situation play out, which we're now hoping that within next year it'll become legal. But because they were never zoned, you could never really properly outright own them, even though legally you do own them. But they haven't been put into the land registry's titles office because they're not really legal and there's no zoning permits. But as of next year, they're going to allow people to start zoning them according to how they bought them, so they don't lose them. But in the meantime, whatever was in place prior to 2012, you can continue to build or change. But after 2012, you cannot build anything on there without paying like a 15,000 euro fine. And they fly drones over there yearly, take photos. And obviously, whenever someone's got a new build on it, they're like, here's the fine. Now, they're not fining everyone 15 grand. They're not going to fine the Greeks 15 grand. But old mate from Australia, who's got X amount of properties, they're going to fine him 15 grand. So it's just better we're sitting on our Avra at the moment, just waiting to see how things go next year, because it's now fallen into my name, obviously through inheritance. And these are the conversations I've been having with my civil engineer over there. But yes, I do own land, and yes, I would buy land, but not. It's funny enough. There's a block of land that's kind of astray at the moment, next door to my parents' building in Thessaloniki, that over the years has just someone's put up a chain and we've turned it into a parking lot, standard. And I was talking to my uncle. I was like, actually, see if you can find out who owns this, because I wouldn't mind maybe making an offer. And because if you can buy that for 100,000 euro, 150,000 euro in the heart of Thessaloniki, essentially, in Abelokipos, and you raise 5 levels of 2 apartments on each level, mate, forget about it, So yes, I would buy land in those opportunities. I'd even buy like single story places that are derelict and old. I was even looking at something a bit further. Now, granted, those ones are going for about $1 million as well, $1 million, $2 million, because I know developers are coming in there, buying those things, obviously getting rid of them and raising towers. So it's to buy land to build your own house in the heart of Athens or Thessaloniki. I mean, I see it a little bit pointless unless you're out in a village or a little, in the center of the city. It's going to be difficult, unless you're in certain areas that are that way inclined. For argument's sake, in Thessaloniki, it's Panorama, which is a very hoity-toity area, or I forgot what the other one's called, but that's where our land is, that we just randomly happen to have land there by luck. But you go through and there's some monstrous villas there. I forgot what the area is called. But anyway, there's certain areas, little hotspots, and I'm sure there'll be some in Athens as well, where they are just single-story dwellings or double-story dwellings, proper massive villas and mansions like we have here in Australia. But that's very rare. And, it's to buy the land there, you're probably looking at 10,000 euro per whatever it is, 1,000 per square meter or whatever. Thedemy is what you're referring to. No, not Thedemy. No, it's not Thedemy at all. Thedemy's near the airport. It's I'll think about it. Because my mom was always like, how much are apartments in Crete? Again, it depends, man. It depends what you're sort of looking at, which part of Crete, whether it's near the water, how big, how old, how new. Like, it just depends. But upwards of 150,000 for something small onwards. If not more. Euro, mind you. Far out. Oh God, I'm stuck on this place. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, it'll come to me. It'll probably come to me when I jump off. And I can't even look at anything. I'm utilizing all my freaking thingos. What's it called? All my appliances. Not Oreo Castro. Oreo Castro's further out as well. There's Panorama Oreo Castro. Anyway. But yeah, land is something that I would buy. Probably more on an island, I think, than I would on the mainland. No, Lefkada's Athens. Or are you asking about Lefkada? Because I love Lefkada. Well, not Athens, but down that way. I want to go to Lefkada. I would buy in Lefkada, actually. And I think that's one of the places that's going to pop off next. Because a lot of Greek tourists, there's a lot of tourism from Greece that go to Lefkada. It's not widely known from your international tourists. When I talk about sort of widely known, I kind of break it up into two different bits, right? I break it up into like what the general world knows of Greece, Santorini, Mykonos, Ios, blah, blah, and what the Greeks know of Greece. And Lefkada falls in that place. Even places like Skopelos, Skathos, Zakynthos, which, man, Zakynthos beach is phenomenal, but it's not in that area. It's not where everyone knows it. It's where the Greeks know it. It's starting to become that. But it's, it's really not. Yeah, we have land 300 meters from beach, Vasiliki. Amazing. Hold on to that thing, man. Build it up if you can slowly. Just do it. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to buy land, that's huge. That's massive. That's what I'm saying. If anyone's going to buy land, I would actually just say buy something on an island where you can build a beach house and hold on to it and just enjoy it, because it's hard with land to make money off land unless you're leasing it out to a farmer, which realistically we're leasing ours out for 20 euro a strema, I think, and we've got 8 strema or 9 strema. I think it's 180 euro a year. You're making peanuts. And it's not really, anywhere that anyone's going to take over and build massive high rises. In fact, you can't. It's zoned as a farm anyway. But yeah, if you got land on an island, that's what I'd be saying. That's what I'd be doing. Just going and building yourself a nice little beach house. In fact, that's what I'm going next year, to potentially island hop and look at places where I want to buy just something for me. It's always been my dream to own something on an island. I'd love to look at Zakynthos. I'd love to look at Lefkada. I'd love to look at a few other places and just sort of buy. But I mean, they're going up. Zakynthos is going up, really going up. Bardos Naxos as well. I was in Bardos and Naxos almost 10 years ago. And I remember speaking to someone who had an apartment. I met this Greek American, who's my age, went out, we drank, we went to his place, he checked it out. There's a few of us there, we're sitting on the rooftop, and it's like, yeah, I bought this for like 50,000 or whatever it was, Now, forget about it. Naxos and Bardos and all that. Yeah, they've gone through the roof because they've become known now to this area of the tourism of the world, who know of Greece. So now it's become Mykonos, Santorini, Paros, Naxos, all that kind of stuff. Eos. Unless a Netflix show goes and films like that, like it happened in with Maestro in Blue and whatever, Baxos, I think it was. That Baxos, forget about it. Places there. Look up Baxos if you get a chance on Svitogador. Have a look at what they're going for, all because someone decided to film a Netflix show there. So, yeah. Damn it, what's the name of that place? Far out. It's doing my head in now. It's really doing my head in. I need to get my iPad. Hang on. I want to see if I can find it, because I need to find it just for my own sanity now. Anyway, it's been fun being back. It's been interesting. Let's go Thessaloniki. Probably still won't find it, to be honest. Is there any questions, anyone? Any like other than where's a good place to buy? Anything else that I can help people with or whatever? I don't even know where I'm looking. Bilal. There you go, Bilal. Bilal's insane. Really insane. Like in Thessaloniki, some villadas there. And I'm like, how the hell did we end up with land here? And we ended up because someone decided to buy 70 years ago because that was just the cheapest option. What's building cost per square meter roughly? €2,500 at the moment, 2,000 euro, €2,500 at the moment, more or less, depending on where you are. And we're talking ground up, not like a renovation, but we're talking a ground up. If you were to build a place, construction, you're looking at that. And again, that's a very rough but generalized sort of price. And can I borrow cash in Melbourne to build in Greece? I mean, I have been borrowing cash in Melbourne to do my stuff, but it's only been private. It's only been personal loans. They're not going to give you money to like a home loan because they just can't access the property. They can't secure the property. Now, I don't know if you're able to put down any other property as security or anything else, and it depends on your financial situation. I don't know what it is, but if you want a home loan to buy a place in Greece and secure it, that's not something that they're going to do. Create beachfront property that's AI. Stop it. Yeah, but I mean, I bought my first one with a personal loan from ANZ. Really, I think it was like $40,000 I pulled out, and the place cost me $33,000, 19,000 euro. This is in 2018. So, and I told them that I was getting married. Since then, I've divorced and gotten married 3 other times, according to the banks here. But I'm making things work. It doesn't matter, But now I'm actually in the process of getting a home loan from Eurobank. I'm going through the process as we speak. I went through the process a couple of years ago. Decided to not go for it because I had changed jobs and needed another 3 months and And I was like, all right, stuff it. I'll just buy it with my own money. But this time around, I'm actually going for a proper home loan with Eurobank. So we'll see. This has been a fun time as well. But I'm also applying for Alpha Bank. Eurobank calls me back within 12 hours. Alpha Bank, still drinking the flat there. So we'll see. And this is 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. Buyinggreece.com.au or at buyinggreece across all the socials if you need anything. If anyone is good with freaking social media videos and you want to chop up some stuff and get paid, man, reach out because I'm looking for someone anyway. I promise I will put these videos up at some stage because God knows I filmed a shitload of them. I just haven't had time to go through them. My little puppy's just sitting here. All right, guys, thank you so much for everything. Have a good night. Be safe. Stay warm in this beautiful weather. If you're in Melbourne, if you're in Sydney, then I don't know what it's doing up there or any other parts of the world anyway. Thank you. See you guys. I'm going to do the sign-off dance now. All right.